quiet time, a time to reflect on my part, on my time, not yours. You have your own time for reflection, and I have mine. Isn't that great to know? This is actually aromatherapy that I'm using right now, as I wasn't feeling myself this morning. Right? I posted something about a remedy, and that remedy actually came from a dream. I had a dream last night that I had this big pot of like a yellowish, brownish liquid, and for me that pot felt like it was for me to heal something that was going on with me, and that was the only thing I remembered about the dream. So first thing I did was got up and made that big pot with all the beautiful herbs and spices that help alleviate what's going on at that moment for me. So I do feel better, because getting better is getting better when we feel that we want to get better. Whereas before, I would sink into the illness instead of wishing it wellness. So today for me is a day of well-being more than yesterday. This moment is more about feeling well. You know, we are human beings that want to be well-beings, and your well-being is taking care of yourself. You know? So what we are hearing now is healing music. So that really helps me. I also have oregano, essential oregano oil in my diffuser, and it helps clear sinuses. Oregano oil has a lot of components, healing components, and I'm going to give you a few of them. Right now I have it in steam, so when you put the steam on with the oil, with the oregano oil, it's healing the sinus, the chest congestion, and the all related respiratory illnesses. So this cleared my nostrils without taking a pill. Oregano oil is very strong oil. When you dilute it, it is good for the skin. You can put it on your skin. Acne, athlete's foot, canker sores, varicose veins, warts, psoriasis. It has many healing components. And the biggest one is it actually has antimicrobial, antiviral, antifungal properties, potent antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-diabetic, and cancer suppressor agency. So oregano oil is very good for your soul. And that's what I'm doing today. I am concentrating on my well-being, not on what I was feeling this morning. Whereas before I became aware of this, it would last up to 10 days. And now it only lasts 2 to 3 days. What a wonderful revelation! So, I'm going to turn down this beautiful healing music for a minute. Right? Into that. So we can listen to the word of our higher selves come in. I forgot to do something. I want to keep my ego out of this conversation. Ego, you can go now. We don't need you here. And I'm wanting for everyone else to feel that. To let their ego go as they come in here. Let's bring the healing powers for all to feel, for ourselves and for whoever is listening and whoever is feeling this healing power of wellness through our beings of wellness. Because that is all we are here for. We are here to be well as beings walking this planet. That's who we are. We are here to enhance each other's powers of love, of joy, and of peace, because those are very powerful. Very, very powerful. Grand Risings, Francis. Thank you for being here. Yeah. I was just talking about the components of oregano oil and how healing oregano oil is, and the big healing powers in oregano oil, and how I'm using it as we speak through my essential oil steamer. So I think I explained it before the video. You can go back and check it out if you want. So this morning, Spirit came to me, my higher power came to me in a form of well-being, of knowing that I have the healing power to heal myself with the components that it was given to me through Mother Earth. And it gave me an alternative of what I wanted to do, because I didn't get rid of all the medicines in my cabinet. They're still there. But now I can have an awareness of which one and how can I use them. So this morning wasn't about writing, it was more about doing and have a mindset of well-being and healing myself, whereas before it would take me up to 10 days to get rid of an illness, like a simple cold, whereas today it'll take me 2 to 3 days. So I see the difference now, and I know it had to do with how I was feeling at the moment. Did I follow through on the illness of what I was feeling? Whereas now I follow through with knowing I will be better, that I am getting better moment by moment. It takes practice to realize that we do have the power to cure ourselves. It takes a lot of practice and patience, it takes a new way of feeling about yourself, really. It's more about the feeling. And I feel that I can heal myself with the elements of this earth. And it's working. There are ailments in my body that is taking way longer because I've had it way longer. Colds come and go. But pain body of the past takes a little longer. So let me explain to you about that. I was a person with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, and all of it gave me a stomach illness. So now my stomach is paralyzed, gastroparesis. I was paralyzed, so my tummy became paralyzed. I carry all my stress in my belly, and that's where it came through. So now I have to be aware of what I eat. and how I think about it. I also have a crooked esophagus, and that also came from stress and worry and depression. So what we feel eventually show up in the body. And once that happens, it's time to start taking care of our mentality and slow it down to a purpose of knowing that all is well. You know, that even though we go through all this stress, it still works out. It still works out. Right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yesterday, I did a little writing yesterday, 6:15 this in the morning, and it felt good. It feels good to write in the mornings because that's when it comes to me, and that's when we're most receptive for the day. We're most open to what type of day we're going to have when we wake up. You know, even before going to sleep, we make the intention of waking up refreshed and rested. You know, as long as we keep that intention good, we'll be fine. You know, it'll be good. I hope that makes sense. You know, well, let's go on with the reading. Enough of that tuki we're talking about. Oh, okay. When we are wanting change within ourselves and the environment we live in, we have to participate in the change we want. What is meant by participating has nothing to do with the environment we're in. We start with a new practice of thought. For example, I was told another truth about myself the other night. And I know this illness had to do with the way I was feeling. I was feeling wobbly about myself. And I was feeling wobbly about myself because I heard a truth about me outside of myself. And you know what they say, the truth hurts? Well, I was feeling hurt and I was feeling sad about the truth that was given to me. Whereas before I was sitting that hurt and I would feel hurt and then sad and then depressed and then angry. And and it's like a momentum happens. This little trail of hurt happens and becomes anger and resentful and yucky. And then we're back into the realm of depression, right? So anyway, I was told another truth about myself the other night. I felt that truth and it didn't feel good. I sat with this truth and it saddened me. I felt sad. Yes, I am in human form. I am a human being looking for well-being because we are all wanting to feel well in this being that we are in, right? So the difference now is I can soothe myself instead of banging my head with that truth. My thoughts, by being alone and reflecting on that truth, right? We reflect on that truth. And we soothe that truth by making a little change about it. By being aware that it can change into something good. Whatever it is. Right? Hi, my beautiful Amy. Yeah. Distraction was a way out for a very long time for me. Distraction was a really big one for me. I was afraid to move into the well-being because I didn't know. It was unknown. It was unknown to me. So the questions came up. What do I want to do with that truth? Do I sit with it in the sadness? No, I don't sit with it in the sadness. This was the perfect time to hear this truth. The truth always comes to you in perfect timing, whether you feel it or not. It is something you had to hear at that moment to learn from it, not to sit in it. There's a difference. And it doesn't matter what it looks like to others. It doesn't matter. That's not what matters here. It's your well-being that matters. Okay. This was the perfect time to hear this truth because this truth was about repeating something that I was working on to change. That's when it usually comes. These things happen very subtly. When we wobble a little off our path of feeling light and love with all and within our course, right? And that kind of happened to me, and that's why I started feeling ill this morning. The aftermath of the sadness showed up this morning. And I'm still working on it. I took this sadness to bed with me. I just said that, right? It was almost felt like I failed in something again. The next day of rising, the sadness was still lingering, right? From the night before. This is how momentum starts. This is where I make the choice to stay with this feeling or to soothe. Or do I soothe myself? Do I heal my thoughts and find the light in that truth? You don't want to stay in the dark of the truth. You want to find that light in that truth. That's where we want to be. Yay! I started soothing my thoughts instead of scolding what I was feeling. What I mean by scolding is when we say, oh, the resentment is the resentment of the truth, is the scolding yourself. This was the perfect time to implement what I've been learning, what I've been practicing. Because once you learn this, there's no way of going back. Because when you go back, this is what happens. You get ill, you get sick, you know. I know I need to feel the feelings that don't feel good. Because that's part of growing. But I never have to stay there. We never have to stay there, ever. It was a day of healing for me. That was Sunday. Sunday was a big day of healing for me. A day of reflecting. And by the end of that day, I was smiling. I took naps. I felt into the sadness. I did everything that I needed to do to soothe myself. But because in that moment that it was said, I kind of grasped into the sadness. So it was me working myself out of the sadness that bring in this stuffiness, you know. Yeah. Okay, where am I here? By the end of the day, I was smiling again. See, we don't have to stay where we are emotionally when something comes up that doesn't feel right. And right is your light. Some of us can change over very quickly, and some of us need time to reflect so we don't repeat the same truth. And truths get repeated and repeated and repeated when we feel resentment, when we feel guilt, when we feel ill, when we take on other people's illness. And that's another thing I did last week. I was taking on a little bit of the illness that I was taking care of in someone else. And then I remember, it's not my job to feel their hurt or to feel their illness. It's my job to feel their wellness, their well-being in their humanness. And I do the same for me now. We make efforts toward the light inside. We want our inner source, which is whoever you want to call it, God, the light, whatever you want to call it. We want our inner source to remind us rather than an outside source to repeat it, right? The answer always comes when we stay in a receptive mode, when we stay in an open-minded mode of whatever is coming in, of receiving, so we can be open to the answers. Isn't that wonderful news? You see, the good news doesn't have to come only on a Sunday. One more thing. When someone speaks of truth, remember they also have their own, right? It just happened to be your turn to hear yours. That's all. Don't take it so personal. So when you are ready to tell someone's truth, just remember to say with wanting their light to shine, not yours. When you're telling someone the truth, don't look for your light in this. Look for their light in this, and it'll lighten that load. I hope that makes sense, right? Love and light and the source and any higher being or any higher power you feel is going to help you with your inner strength of your source of light, of love, then so be it. And that's what it is. And that's it. Light is your source of love, right? No one has to live with any ugly truth about themselves. We learn from it and change it, and that's where it changes. It is part of our expansion to the light that we seek. We're always seeking, right? I know most or all of families, have traumas and tragedies that happen for generations before us. But I want this family to heal from the karmic past that has been given to us. You get that? It is time to break that chain. This is the age of the new. I know a lot of us are feeling a little different nowadays. And it happened on December 21st, 2020, when the planets aligned. Things started happening after that. Sit on it and reflect on it, and you'll notice the little changes that's been happening since then. Some of us live in the sadness of the past. Some in the comedy of the past, some in the anger of the past, and some of us in the denial of the past. And some of us in all of it. Awareness of wanting change is the start to that portal of peace we are all wanting. We don't have to wait to transition to find little pieces of that peace within us, and to spread that little piece outside of us. When we have pain, this is like a little saying that came up in my head. When we have pain in the mind, the vessel will follow. I was just talking about that. Isn't that funny? And that saying, I said it weeks ago, but I really didn't connect it to where I am now. But now that I see it, there it is. Okay. We may know each other with the thoughts we speak, but we really don't know each other with the thoughts we think of ourselves. We don't have to feel what we see. And with that, I think I'm going to dye my hair. Yeah, that was a good one. And I started this hashtag because it felt so appropriate for me about 2 years ago to be kind to your thoughts. And being kind to my thoughts helps me be kind to others, and it helps enhance the kindness in others when we give the kindness. And when we give that kindness of thought, don't expect it all the time back to you. We go on with what we have, with what we know. You know, that's the beauty for this wonderful, wonderful beauty of this life. That we don't have to stay where we are. Peace and love, yes indeed. Peace and love. Yes, 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 yes. So be kind to your thoughts. And eventually your world will be kind to you. Yes. And that's what we're here for. To be kind to each other. Right? And may this day find some peace and some gratitude of the learning of yourself on a daily basis. Yeah. I'm going to leave that with you. And most of all, have fun with it. Be light with yourself. Don't be so hard on your thoughts. Yeah. May you find your peace. May you find that joy. And may you find the love that's inside of you. And have a wonderful, wonderful, smiley day.